Round 10 for the men. The penultimate round, so only the last round remains. And all to play for in the last round. So, well, the women had a rest day here, so in the last round, Crush and Satonsky even before the last round, so most likely both will win, and they will have a playoff for the title. Before we can go over to the men and see what happens in the last round, let's see what happened in the 10th round. And before this round, Akopian and Lendeman on 6, Kamsky and Josh Friedel on 5.5. So let's first see what happened in Friedel's game. He had white, and we had a symmetrical English. And, well, the reason it's called symmetrical is quite clear here. All the moves are the same, but here black deviates with, well, what some people call the Fisher system. He used to play this, I believe. And, yeah, white can castle play d3. Black will play knight g7 castle. But okay, that's a different game. White went for a sharp option here with pawn to d4. And then knight to b5. Threatening to jump into this d6 square, so black plays d5. And this again becomes somewhat quiet. White will try to regain this pawn and hope that this will be a weakness, but black seems to be doing fine here. Bishop f4. Castle to knight c7. Now technically, white could force a draw here, I guess, by going back and forth. But he decided to play queen d2. Didn't make much sense at this stage, this close to the top, to go for a quick draw with white. So knight takes d4, queen b6, e3. All rather quiet still. If you take on d5, then e2 is hanging, so bishop h6. Bishop takes, queen takes, and now bishop takes f3. And here Josh elected to take with a pawn. If he takes with a bishop, I'm guessing knight d4 is a tad bit uncomfortable. Hitting e2 and hitting f3. I mean, I guess bishop takes d5 could be played, but he could take here, maybe even with the queen. But white certainly can't claim anything here. Instead he took with a pawn, trying to preserve the bishop. But this allows a passed pawn here, which can and will be pushed at a later stage in the game. Rook behind the passed pawn. f4, trying to activate the bishop. Again, but rook e8. Yeah, of course we can't take the pawn. Let's say just knight b4 should be enough, and we have a double attack on this guy. Well, two guys attacking it. That's not really the same as a double attack, but you know what I mean. a3, a5, yeah, preventing b4. So it all evolves around this trump that black has here. White trying to play around it and neutralize it. The knight jumps into b3. Black seems to be doing quite well here. I mean, everything is covered. Queen covers the rook, they cover the pawn. Knight covers the pawn as well, but is there any progress to be made? I guess the main thing for black here is he knew that white kind of needed to gamble to have a chance at the championship, so he waited the round, and then white took this pawn on b5, but now the pawn can advance here further, and he can also take on b2. So now it's starting to look dangerous here with this pawn, especially after pawn to d2. Queen f4 was played, and queen takes b5, queen immediately. Then perhaps h6 is dangerous. Something like this. I presume. Let's say we go here. Yeah, the question is how this is. Does white have perpetual here? Check. King g5 actually gets mated. So let's go to h5. If you go here, then all of a sudden the tables turn. So we would have to go here, and then check. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe this is okay for black even. I don't see any immediate mate, and I also don't see any perpetual, so maybe he could have done that. But he went for queen takes b5, which also this looks safe. h6 check, king g8, h7, king g7. And now if you make a queen, then there's no check immediately, so rook d1, queen e2, and now you want queen h6. I mean, the idea is to make a queen, but there's nothing further, really. Here, and the king escapes. And it probably escapes in the other variation as well, so this is just looked winning for black. So this means that, well, Joshua Friedell's option chances are, well, out of, well, how to describe it, they're gone, down the drain. But still, good tournament for him. And Shankland, well, he's making a late surge off the leaderboard, not in contention for the title, but he managed to save the tournament. And well, he's beat Akopian, Lendeman, who were both in the lead, and now Freital, who was tied for third. So yeah, they're nicknaming him the spoiler in this tournament, and that's a good one actually. So let's go on to the most important game of this round, and that's Akopian Kamsky. Akopian leading, and Kamsky trailing him by half a point. So this was Kamsky's chance to catch up, and he went for f5, and most likely he wanted to play the Leningrad, but Akopian did not allow the Leningrad because he went for this knight c3 anti-Dutch. Usually they're playing, I guess, knight f6, bishop g5, but bishop f4 is also makes sense. And various ways to play it. You can play with e3, you can play with queen d2 and f3. Let's see how he plays it. He plays e3. And a6 makes sense. I mean, this knight placement is slightly usual with the bishop here, so don't want to allow this move. And some variations, so a6, knight f6, bishop d3, and c5. Black might think about c4 in some cases. So I'm wondering if, well, what's either going to take or play knight e5? Takes, bishop takes, castles, and knight e2. So yeah, white's trying to control these squares here with his pieces. Here he will definitely take with the pawn, yeah, controlling e4. And this very much centers around the black squares. So it might be like b4 and maybe post the queen on diagonal, something like this. Place rook c1, rook c8, queen d2, castles, and rook takes c5. Yeah, this is just an exchanging operation, sacrificing the exchange, but immediately gaining it back because of the double attack. He takes f8. And now white has good control of these squares. You can post knight on e5, play f4. First he contests the c file, but now knight e5. Rook takes, and queen c8. And here, yeah, an important point, maybe strategical decision to keep the queens or not. Kopian decided to play it safe. He captured the queen, and here, I mean, white is really solid. He has good grip on these squares, so it's safe to say that white has a positional advantage here. And if you're playing white here, it almost doesn't matter who your opponent is. You can and you should play on no matter what, because there are almost no chances to lose here. I mean, these knights are so strong, you control the board. You can easily improve e4 maybe. You play h3, g4, something like this. And yeah, there's almost no chance to lose here, but is it enough to win? Remains to be seen. Knight back. Yeah, black is certainly not gonna play with a bad bishop against the good knight, so didn't take on e5. But now, yeah, knight b7, g4. So white is slowly improving, but I guess we need some entry for the king to be able to claim a win here. So now he puts the king on e2. Not yet sure where to try to go for something. After g5 takes. Now the king goes back. But turns out white didn't really find any plan here to improve his position. So a draw was agreed here. Certainly still white is the only one who can theoretically win, but against a strong opponent it's really hard to make any headway here. So draw for Kopian here against Kamsky. And this means that before the last round Kamsky is still trailing Akopian with half a point. But this meant that Lendeman had some chances here with the black pieces against Molnar, who is well, not having a great tournament. He's in at the bottom, so looked like a chance for Lendeman here. He played the French, and we had the Tarrasch. He takes d5. We had this variation a lot in the tournament. Queen back to d8. Interesting. The most common is queen to d6. Knight c6, knight b3. White wants to regain this pawn. And for black, it's too dangerous to try and hold on to it, so white gets it back. Now queen c7. And yeah, we kind of transpose here, usually the queen on d6, plays to c7 in this position, so it's all the same. Bishop d3. Here also bishop e3 is the most common. Bishop d6, g3. Avoiding any funny business on h2. And here things are quieting down a little bit. e5. What do you want to change queens just yet? Pawn to e5, bishop e3, and knight to c2. So well, black still has to solve the problem of this bishop. So a lot of queen moves, but finally the bishop comes out, and we should be around equal here. Question is maybe if white is too weak here on the king side, but hard to take advantage of it. Knight jumps into g4. Positional threat to take here. And most likely bishop d4. No, queen c4. Yeah, okay. Swiss and soup attacking this. Bishop back to e6. Queen takes e4. White temporarily wins a pawn. But now black takes on e3. Queen takes. The bishop takes e5 and regain the pawn. But can we keep the bishop pair? The queen to f3. Yeah, now the question is, can black keep the bishop pair? No, it takes on b3. And now we have bishop versus knight. And white should be solid here because a knight on d3 in most endgames will cover anything that the bishop can attack. So bishop f8, a very constricted move, so to say. Yeah, I'm not even sure who's better here, if anyone. Quick exchange here. We couldn't take anything with the queen because the rook was attacked. So now we take on b2. And black tries to attack this pawn, but now there's knight takes b4. And fortunately for white, he can solve this pin here with the jack, and then knight c6. And now there's nothing to play for, and actually, if anyone can play on it, it's the knight, but with strong players, it's gonna be a draw here. So nothing to play for, and the draw was agreed. So Lendeman missed his chance here to get the sole lead, but he's tied with a Kopian now, and they will play tomorrow, I believe, and Lendeman will have the white pieces. So interesting pairing in the last round. And meanwhile, Kemsky I think will also have white, and he will look to catch up if they agree to a draw on the first board. So yeah, we will have either a playoff or a decisive game between Lendeman and the Kopian, and it would be exciting. Other games in this round, Onishuk drew with Naroditsky. Naroditsky having a solid tournament. Ramirez and Robson also made a draw, and Ehrenburg won his first game against Gariev, who lost his flying altitude a bit after a good start, and is now below 50%. So yeah, all to play for in the last round, and yeah, I will be watching, and I hope you will too. I'll see you later. Bye bye.